Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market update for Algorand. We're going to talk about some key levels of support and resistance, the 50-week moving average, as well as the ALGO Bitcoin ratio, and the fact that we are coming into high time frame support, the range lows, right around 1,200 Satoshis. So if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out. I'm fairly active over there as well. So with Algorand, I want to start off here on the weekly chart and just do a review of how we've lost this level of support right around 27.5 cents. This was the low that held right here in June. This was the area in which Algorand found some support. It started to bounce off that, and we actually retested it later on in August, continuing to hold this zone. And then eventually we had that breakdown in November, and we flipped it right into resistance. So we haven't really had a retest since that flip right here in the middle of November. But we are retesting this longer term zone of support, and I have marked out in green, this green zone ranging from 21 to 24 cents. This was a previous zone of support. This was the low right here in November of 2020, coming off the back of this pretty significant correction to which Algorand dropped about 72%. So this was the level where Algorand found support, started to pivot off of this big correction, and then move back up, forming new all-time highs. So we're coming back down, retesting that on the weekly chart. As of right now, we're retesting the lower range of that, the very bottom of the wick right here on the week of November 2nd. So at this point, it's going to be very important to watch out into the next few weeks to see how the weekly chart unfolds. If we do get some sort of bounce off this zone and some resolve back to the upside, potentially for a retest of, again, that level that we just lost around 27.5 cents. So as an illustration, that would look something like this, where maybe we do have a bounce off this zone, and then we could have a retest of that previous level of support. And at this point, we might watch out to see the reaction off this level. Maybe if we reject off there, then we come back down and roll over. Or if we can reclaim this, that would be a bullish sign to which we might start to have a longer term deviation at this level. Again, just hypotheticals, but I did want to point those out because I do expect at some point we will see some sort of bounce off this zone as support. However, if we just break right through this and we flip it right into resistance, the next zone of support I'm going to be watching out for is these March lows coming in right around this level at 13.5 cents. So look out to that as our next zone of support if we're unable to hold this zone in green and we start to flip it into resistance. Now beyond that, I also do want to focus on the 50-week simple moving average. That is this orange line. And if I just extend out its current trajectory, its current rate of change, you can see it's moving down fairly quickly. And the reason is because 50 weeks ago, Algorand was up at these prices in this $1.40 range. So when we do have a retest of this 50-week moving average, it's going to be a very significant retest because this was a very strong level of support throughout the bull market. This was a zone that buyers in demand started to step in right here in July and August of 2021. We also had some more bounces right here in December of 2021 and then just in January of this year. Ultimately on that breakdown, very negative reaction by the market, with this week taking Algorand down by about 31%. So if we do get that retest, and you could see that could be very likely into the next few months as this is moving down very quickly and we could come up to those levels. If we do get that retest, watch for a reaction. If we have the first retest after it was significant and strong support in the bull run, then my expectation would be that it would flip into resistance and we might see some sort of rejection. Much further out, but I did want to point this out because this is averaging down very quickly. And again, if we do have a bounce off this zone of support, we could see that retest into the next few months as given by this downward sloping trajectory. So now I want to talk about the ALGO Bitcoin ratio, and same moving average here, the 50-week average, the same line in orange. You can see that has also been a very key level. This is the level to which we had the lower highs form off of in September and then November, both attempts holding resistance, strong resistance, and then we've been rolling over after these two rejections. So we're coming back down to the longer term high time frame support right around 1,200 Satoshis. This is the range low of this entire range that we have been in for the past few years. This was support right here in January of 2021. Big bounce and inflection point right here, and that took us all the way back up to the range highs right around 5,500 Satoshis. And then we had another bounce right here in June, continued to bounce, and then we've just seen that resistance at the 50-week push us back down, and we're once again coming up into another retest of this level of support. Now, this eventual retest is going to be a huge sign for the longer term direction of Algorand with respect to Bitcoin. If it doesn't hold this as support and we break down below it, and just as an illustration, if something like this were to happen, this would be a very bearish sign, to which I would say we've exited this longer term multi-year range and we would have a continuation to the downside, forming new all-time lows. And that would be very bearish because that would mean Algorand is having a lot of underperformance with respect to Bitcoin. And at that point, given that Algorand and most other altcoins just have higher risks associated than Bitcoin does, it really wouldn't be justified to hold an altcoin because it has underperformance with respect to Bitcoin. But that doesn't have to happen if we do have a bounce off this range low like we saw right here in January 2021 and June of this year. Then we can look to see another retest of this 50-week average, and hopefully by then bulls will have enough support and strength to have a breakout above that. So that's what I'm going to be watching out for into the next few months. I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.